What's going on? It's Justeeni here. You probably read the title already. Yeah, we're doing some Polyseum on small consonants with the posse, guys. Do you know what that means? You guys know what that means. So I'm gonna be doing things a little different. Usually with the Polyseums, I just show you guys the grand finals because that's where all the exciting things happen. But things are gonna be a little different. I mean, all the games are exciting, right? So I just have to show you. But yeah, there's some reasons why I'm not showing the grand finals. You'll see. So this one's actually the quarterfinals. Because round one, I didn't have an opponent because I had a really high seed. So yeah, when the tournaments are small, I just don't get an opponent, which kind of sucks. But yeah, this is my first game, but it's actually round two. So let's just get right into things. I mean, you guys know what's gonna happen. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail, and you know. Turn 3 meditation. We're skipping the turn 1 warrior just to get the meditation on turn 3. And it's super greedy and delicious. You'll love to see it. And I see them there, you know, they're on the other continent as expected. I meet them. Philosophy pre-cap and hunting to upgrade capital and my C3. And I can even get construction pre-cap. So we just have, like, look at our techs already. We got all these techs by turn 7. Like, it looks ridiculous. It looks so ridiculous, but, like, we're also developing our economy. That's the thing. We get this juicy border growth. We're going to be able to steal some land from their continent, which is just awesome here. So, things continue to happen. Get the giant on turn 9. And yeah, they're not up to too much. They're getting in the water though, so I know they definitely didn't rush Philo, obviously. They're not rushing markets. So this is gonna be amazing for me. I'm able to take this city. And even though they did take one city on my continent, usually this sucks a lot when this happens, but like I'm using Philo rush. I do not care. Take it. Take it. I'm gonna take that ruin. Or just making some more units, you know. My economy's off to a bit of a slow start, but you gotta keep in mind, I am really close to trade. And I'm already setting up my markets. Boom, look at that level 5 market. So like, yeah, things are a little slow right now, but I have Philo, that long-term advantage, and I'm going to have markets to just absolutely explode in economy. There's trade. There we go. That's a turn 12 market while spamming units. Like, I couldn't even go full on greedy, and I still get that turn 12 market. So that's what we're about here. They get a city wall here. That's actually a very good city wall, like really well played on the opponent for this. That actually makes sieging not possible this turn. Now I get forestry for a couple reasons. I want to chop this, and I want to get the lumber hut, and I also want to chop this later. So forestry will work out. It's cheaper. One of the extra benefits of philosophy. So I do some snazzy kills, get this warrior to 2 out of 3. And now I've got 30 star per turn with just 5 cities, and I'm pressuring them like crazy. They've got construction though. They're branching out a ton, but they don't have philosophy. I know they don't have philosophy. I mean, look at that score. There's no way they have philosophy in all these cities and all this vision. They've got Eye of God. They straight up have Eye of God. There's no way they have philosophy. It's just not a thing. And then I get the double Mindbender over here. What the heck? Double Mindbender. What's the plan here? Well, I know that the giant push is happening. It's basically just inevitable. So I'm going to play around it with this. This is how you use Mindbenders. These are serving 2 purposes here. First off, the Mindbenders defend each other. If the giant attacks, convert. If the giant doesn't attack, there's a conversion threat. If the giant moves away, that's great. Now I siege with my giant. And in addition to that, this giant here is next to this Mindbender, so I can heal. This is peak Mindbender value. This is how you use them right here. Like, take notes, guys. Like, I love Mindbenders so much. Because they're, I'd say, the most underrated unit in the game. They can do so much. You just have to make use of their entire kit. And I get the siege here, which is really devastating. Border growth. And then I get that windmill spot. I'm setting up my next market, and I'm getting the giant to pressure in case they unsiege. And just to pressure in general. So I force the giant away, but again, I'm going to be able to heal. That's going to be super amazing. And they get the giant push off. Really annoying, but it's fine. They had to use 2 monuments to do that. So now I know the coast is clear. If I siege, it's holding. I get the heal in, heal this rider as well for extra value, get the market set up, even more goodness. I'm not in too much of a rush to max my markets, like take notes of this as well. I am prioritizing units here, despite Philo rush. Like, you can't be going too greedy because you have the long-term advantage anyway. So, like, as long as you don't lose in the short term, you're good. Now they get knights and bombers. They're committing everything they can to just stop me. They're spending way more than me, which is amazing. And they also very wisely destroy all these buildings. This is very well played by them. And then, yeah, these Mindbender seal. I know that the knight's going to chain, but I'm going to get that last little bit of Mindbender value first. Then I get chivalry myself. But for me, it's way less of a commitment because I have philosophy. You're seeing a bit of a theme here. Philo's pretty good. I get some little cheeky Mindbender plays. I have to play around this bomber, so I move my units back in an awkward way. But yeah, this Mindbender is going to help heal everything back here. This Mindbender here as a trap. It's preventing their giant from advancing. And they don't listen, of course. This is what happens when you don't respect the Mindbender. They don't care about this at all. They're saying, I don't care, your Mindbender's right there. It can't Mindbend my giant. They kill these Mindbenders. They think they're better than me. They think they've got it. They're sieging. They're advancing. They're doing things. They've got the knight there. But they don't respect the Mindbenders. And this is what happens when you don't respect the Mindbenders. Push for the content. Steal that giant. Yes, sir. Get those heals back there. Absolutely delicious stuff. And then I get this beautiful knight chain as well. Just unsiege. And then I'm just spamming more knights. I've got 39 star per turn. I've got tons of pressure in the north. I've got pressure in the south here. They can't defend everything. They just cannot hold on to this position. They kill my Mindbenders once again, but the Mindbenders already got that value, so it doesn't matter anymore. They get a defender. Again, they gotta buy a lot of techs, but they don't have the Philo, so these are crippling their ability to make units and develop economy. I go for some like monument placements here. The idea is I place 3 farms, then windmill, and you see that's 9 population. That's enough to push the Mindbender. And it gives me that immediate start per turn back when I place a monument, so that's why I do it. Siege their capital. They just don't have units. It's way too much for them. Advance the Mindbender. It can be killed. But you guys know that I have a plan. Mindbenders are always up to no good. You see that? Mindbender push? Yeah, these Mindbenders are defending each other. Doesn't look like it, but they are. He has to respect it. And I'm keeping these giants here. It's distracting their units, and I'm building up units, so if these giant get too weak, I hit their defender, giant dies of retaliation, and then allows my other units to go in to finish the job. They have it bombered on siege. Again, this is also expensive though. Giant on siege, they just barely hold everything together, but unfortunately everything's falling apart at the same time. Now I get fishing, and I go on the water, and it is just too much to handle. They're just getting completely obliterated in the east here. They're destroying more buildings. They're trying to hold on. I get sailing. And I go in for another siege. Strategy to just get more naval presence. And then just develop some more to get that star per turn back up. 54, about to be 55 star per turn. Unfortunately, I cannot place a market in the city, but that's fine. My economy is good enough as is. And I just, again, heal these giants. Just getting ready to get that juicy value. And it's about to happen. These giants are finally weak enough where now I sacrifice the giants to go in for this knight chain. And then I take out the bombers and scouts too. And then send this giant as well. They can't even push. And then they also lose this knight. And yeah, everything's been falling apart, but now you really see it. So at this point, they just unsiege and try to barely hold on once again, but there's just nothing you can do here. So, oh my goodness, absolutely destroying this opponent in the quarterfinals. They didn't even play bad. Like, they had some really nice plays with like the city wall, and they really tried to hold on here. But the Mindbenders were too much, and the Philo rush is too OP. But I'll go ahead and cut to the next match now. All right, so next game, I'm hosting again, and we'll see. Things might take a bit of a different turn. We can see I've got a pretty interesting spawn, a lot of water near me, so it doesn't really favor markets, and I Okay, I missed my... where's my village? Where's my village? Yo, the heck? So I get the turn 4 meditation because I trained another warrior. I needed to expand. And I get an explorer rune. Oh my goodness. Things are not going my way. At least there's a village here, but oh my goodness, they're all so far. Look at this density. And this is pretty bad. So I get Philo pre-cap at least. That's one plus side of this slow expansion is I actually get Philo pre-C2 and I can upgrade. And I'm going to be on 3 cities, it looks like. With horrendous density and an extremely slow start. So what can I possibly do here? But it gets even worse. So this may or may not be the reason why I'm showing games outside of the grand finals. Because sometimes the game just doesn't go your way. But I'm showing this game anyway. You know, win or lose, it's always interesting to see just how much of a fight Philo Rush really can put up. And you're really going to see it here. Trust me. But this is just an extreme disadvantage. They even get to explore here. They have vision on me. I can't pull any snazzy tricks. But I do get the pop ruin. That gives me that little bit of hope just to not resign here. Organization gets me the giant on turn 9, which is surprisingly average. But I can get my altar piece here. And the Park of Fortune. Now I can get a nice border growth. So things could be worse. Again, 2 cities to... I don't even want to know how many they have, but there's a city here, and I do have this near me. I saw this on turn 0 because of the shoreline, so I knew I was going fishing anyway. And if I can secure this, I have 4 cities. No markets, really. Like, I have a level 5 market and a level 3 market, but that would mean I have to get trade and construction and all that, so... Markets aren't really going to be the play this game, unfortunately. So I'm actually going to have to play in a very unintuitive manner compared to the typical Philo Rushes you see. But the plus side of Philo Rush is you can adapt to any situation because all your techs are cheaper. So I need to go Nav, Aquatism, Diplo, like Archery, or if I need to go trade, go like pivot back into that. I can do whatever I need to. And you're really going to see, even though I'm not going markets, I can still make use of that philosophy. That altar piece did help me with that border growth. And you're going to see philosophy get a lot of value. Train some warriors here just to make sure I don't get overrun. I see 2 starfish. Now, how much does navigation normally cost here? With 4 cities, it's going to be 12 plus the base cost of 4, which is 16. It costs 11. That means that I profit 5 stars off navigation. If I didn't have Philo, that wouldn't be the case. And keep in mind, Philo only costed me 7 stars to get the tech. 7 stars. And also you can see climbing getting some value on the Explorer, so that's coming in handy as well. So, what the heck? They got construction, though. So they're going to get giants like crazy. And you could just see how many giants they have, like, or how many cities they have, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe they had a lighthouse, so 6. And they might have even more than that. They could have like 7. Probably just 7. But 7 on 4. And I have no markets. How is this even... I mean, it's really not winnable, let's be real. But again, just how much of a fight can I really put up here? Like, the opponent really has to earn this win, right? And I can really have some serious counterplay here. They weaken my Juggernaut quite a lot, though. Like, really, really weaken it, so that kind of sucks for me. I get the navigation, though. Profit. Some stars. Ramming now. Again, everything is cheaper. Like, if you just want to, like, count how much value philosophy gets in this game, just, like, remember this costed 7 stars. My tier 3 techs are being discounted by 5. My tier 2 techs are being discounted by 4. And my tier 1 techs are being discounted by... I believe 2? Yes, by 2. I think my math is correct with all of that. So, yeah. I'm still somehow almost sort of kind of in it because of philosophy. That is the only thing holding this position together. My Juggernauts are getting weakened like crazy, but at least I have another giant to kind of replace things, and I can weaken their Juggernaut back with ramming of my own. I send this over here just to hopefully recover, and I get a Mindbender if I can get some healing going on, and I need to defend against this giant. I need a plan, so I go for the Mindbender. It's going to dissuade their giant from advancing. They attack, and I will say, around this point, maybe it was a little later, they did start to have a bit of time pressure as well, because they're just struggling to find out how to really advance here. And in fact, siege. Hold on, they can't unsiege that. And now I have a Aquatism. Aquatism is going to be amazing for these rammers and juggernauts, and suddenly I'm actually fighting for naval dominance. And I'm able to hold on in the west just fine. I've got 5 cities now to their likely 6. Things are starting to actually look really good. Am I winning? And they still have a lot of giants. So this is far from easy. Their economy is definitely doing really well, but I get a gate of power here. And again, these Aquatism juggernauts are going to get some serious value. And I get a bomber here. Oh my goodness, they can't even reach it. This is insane. But then they walk in here and oh no, this is going to be a bit of a problem. They're right next to my capital. And this giant's walking in, but I'm not worried about this one because this Mindbender is basically unreachable. So I get some nice bomber value here, splash around, get strategy to defend, send this back because I just need to, unfortunately. It's going to cost me a bit of my naval dominance, but it's just necessary here. And then I go for this play. So the idea here is pretty simple. I've got 2 Mindbenders. You kill one, get Mindbendered. Kill the other, get Mindbended. Now, unfortunately, this was a fatal mistake. Because, well, I thought they could only kill one Mindbender. This warrior that I damaged allows them, with a combination of a scout, to kill both Mindbenders. And now I'm being sieged. I get a diplomacy ruin, and the only way to unsiege is to harvest this animal and 4 forests. So I need to get forestry. That's going to be 24 stars total. I've got 19, so I basically just need to chop 5. I can chop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I can just do that. So I unsiege, and it's going to be pretty rough because then they're going to start attacking my giant first. But I should ultimately be fine. But in the heat of the moment, I forgot that I had an animal here, and I chop everything. I didn't see the animal behind the city, which was very silly on my part. I was pressured to play fast here. Because if I didn't have the animal, I was actually 1 star off. I did the math. I assumed I had no animal here, so I'm like, oh, I'm 1 star off. So I just lose the city now, and now I'm just completely losing this really important border growth city, just holding my east flank together, and that's it. I was playing so well up to this point, but everything's gonna come crashing down now. Or is it? How do they answer that? Well, they actually can with the road play. If I was smarter, I would have placed the cloak. Well, I guess no, this is easier to play around. I think this cloak spot is actually fine. Or placing the cloak here. This is actually better. But they could still road to... I guess the cloak's always able to be played around in some way. But I place it here, assuming that they can't road. They don't even have riding, so I'm not playing around roads. But I mean, the idea is quite simple. I'm just going to cloak the city that they just took from me. But they do have roads. They don't use it to detect the cloak. They double monument, push this giant out. But wait, once again, down 4 cities to 7, and they took one of my best cities, but I'm now using that against them by bombarding it every turn with cloaks. And once again, these rammers with Aquatism are getting insane value, especially against these juggernauts. And all these techs are coming into play, every single one of them. The Philo, the Nav, the Aquatism, the Diplo, Forestry, everything. All of these techs are essential. They're so close to killing this giant, but just not quite. And you can see I get another cloak here. Combined with this Mindbender, this is a very threatening push. And if they don't answer it properly, then that's it. And again, they're under time pressure. They're having a hard time answering anything. They can't even answer the cloaks in the east. And I get this bomber hit. And another siege. This Juggernaut's about to die as well. They have to retreat that or else it's just gone. They unsiege the giant push. It's expensive though. They have to get mining. They hit my bomber though because I positioned it a little too close. But yeah, they can't even afford to get a scout or even make units. And now I just cloak them. Now that giant's gone. And then I siege with the defender rammer. And somehow, 4 cities on 7, no markets, horrible economy, just 20 star per turn. I'm winning. It just can't deal with this pressure. And despite one of the worst starts I think I've ever had in a Coliseum, using the power of Zabasi Philo Rush, I managed to win. And that takes me to the grand finals. So for the sake of time with this video, and for milking the content, because I have to with Zabasi Philo Rush, right? This is going to be a two-parter, so the grand finals against a familiar foe will be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.